in the opening that you play, I was talking to my cousin about it. My little cousin, he's like I don't know, like 12, I think, or 14,
Mm-hmm.
and no, I think he's 13. Point being, 14. My bad. So he's like, hey, do you know any animes I can watch? I'm like, what do you like? He's like, oh, I like Konosuba. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, do you have like any other preferences? He's like, do you know any genre? I'm like, dude,
Konosuba.
that would be funny to be honest. But no.
But by then you already know, like in general, if you were to ask me what my preference is, you already know what my preferences are
And
already.
I'm like, hey, dude, do you like fantasy? It's like travel to like a different universe. It's like, yeah. I'm like, I would probably recommend you to ReZero, but that's like a gore fest.
Mm.
Is quite brutal.
All right.
So we ended up watching. We watched Lock Horizon. He's like, it looks fine. It looks fine, but I would prefer something better. I'm like,
Can we watch
you
Konosuba?
you are a super elite person. Like I even joke about it. He's like, is that bad? I'm like, yeah, that's bad. Um, point being, we just ended up watching Boku no Hero,
Oh,
the first season.
okay.
Anyways,
And he was just like, oh, this is amazing.
I'm like, do you still want to watch? He's like, yeah, I still want to watch it. I'm like, okay. Anyways,
So pretty much Gus has 4 animes. I already gave my 4 already.
how do you not have 4?
You said it in the car.
I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I heard you. Yes, you did.
I guess I was drunk.
Because pretty much you were in the what I like to call, what's it called? Like you were both in the awake and not awake position.
At position.
You were both in the awake and not awake type of thing. I can't.
I didn't mean state
I think.
instead of position. Cause if you say position, I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean position? Like, was I doing like I don't know, like some sort of yoga position or something?
Yep.
Like in the car?
Oh, Jimmy. So yeah, pretty much I mentioned like I seen 4 animes. You mentioned you saw 4 animes too. I remember, and I remember. Even though if I have the worst memory in the world, I remember that you said you had 4 animes.
You actually have the worst memory.
I do not. I remember the.
From everybody that I know, you do.
I remembered.
I remember what I did last night. Anyways, point being,
Tamashi inserts. The phone app anime.
oh,
Not gonna get into it because it is NSFL.
okay.
Peggy 18 people.
So, oh yeah, I've completely forgot about that. I was going to search that up actually.
What?
Because the thing you say, okay. So long short story. Josh said that the adaptation for that show is a no safe for work manga, and I was telling him it's not. There's almost a 50% chance that it's like, oh hey, it's been adapted from something else.
That's what I said to him.
And it's adapted from a light novel.
It is?
It is.
I have to look up the creator because I do know the creator's name, Tanugachi.
It's actually if you want to come here right now, you can actually.
Whoa, gotta move over.
So see,
That is not the one.
it's not.
No. Tamashi insert.
What is that?
It's not an anime. I've mentioned this before a million times.
Okay, I will give you that much. I was sleepy. I will give you that much.
Again, you were sleepy, and that's when you revealed all your dirty secrets to me. That you watched 4 animes, and you also do stuff at night. Welcome to Carnival Animation, kids.
Taking a shower. I mean, it feels more comfortable to be honest.
Yes, and I take a shower with my clothes on. I sing Barbie Girls in the shower. I don't care. So, how's everybody's day going?
Please call 911. Anyways, that's a joke. That's a joke. Anyways, so Kakigurui, episode 1 was something I'm gonna end up saying that is it's impressive, it's good, and it's fantastic, and it's totally not safe for work. 10 out of 10 IGN. I give myself approval.
Wait, what anime?
Kakigurui,
Oh,
the gambling one.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, that was a complete joke, by the way. So at least in my opinion, the show's the show is not going to be relaxed at all. It's not going to be like just sit down gambling and have fun, right?
They
Like-
take gambling serious.
Like they take super seriously. Like if you, let's say if I'm playing gambling with Josh, right? As an example,
And I win.
and I win.
You.
And he ended up being in debt with me, with a huge debt. I'm just gonna say, hey, I'm the owner of that person. Like that's how it is, basically.
Okay.
Because you're so in depth into me
Mm-hmm.
that you have no way to pay me.
Mm.
So even if you like work your lifetime, you're still going to owe me that much. So I technically own you, quote unquote. That's like one of the extremes of this anime.
Okay.
That was an example of like how extreme it can go for at least in the first episode. The facial expressions that they have game at least that I have seen so far, it reminds me a lot of the prison school. I personally didn't really enjoy prison school. Like I watched and everything, but I couldn't find anything enjoyable out of that. It was just odd. I would probably say that much. So basically, the Hiakao Private Academy is a private school where students with a lot of money gambles between each other, and this is where pretty much I assume it's like the male protagonist, but I think it's more like a side male character who was ended up being in debt, and with I think it's Susui, and to be honest,
It's just it leaves you in a very
like it's a little uncomfortable, but it's like, oh, it's gambling, it's gonna be fun, right? And so yeah, it has like all sort of gamblings, and even Rochambeau, and it's not like your typical Rochambeau. It's not like Rochambeau, right? So basically, from what I've seen from the first episode, it's like, oh hey, all the students are going to draw a card, right? From there, you're going to put in a box. So we're going to pick 3 different cards, and we're going to use one of those cards to play Rochambeau, right?
yeah.
So, or Mills Cyber character was like, okay, I'm going to sit behind or main female protagonist, who is Yumeko or Yumeko Yavami. She's like, and he's like, I'm not planning. That way she can know what I'm doing. So he was basically giving hints like, oh, next thing is going to be scissors or paper or something like that, right? So make sure that I think, if I'm mistaken, her name was Mary. That way Mary can or Giovanni can be in depth with Mary, because basically Mary brought like, hey, let's gamble, and we're going to be betting 600,000, I think. No, sorry about that. It's 1,200,000 yens. And once the thing happens, they're like, okay, so you don't have enough. So basically, she ended up losing on the big bets or gambles, and the small gambles she ended up winning. And once she ended up losing all the money, she's like, Mary was like, "Hey, guess what? You don't have enough money. So what are you planning to do now?" So she grabbed her bag and brought like 10 million gens out of her bag. That's what Giovanni had. She's like, "I have this amount of money, so I want to keep playing." And somehow, some miraculous way, she won. So the one who ended up being in debt was Mary. And what Jabamim is, from what I understand, the concept is that she she's a gambler enthusiast. I think that's how you pronounce the word enthusiast.
Is she the ultimate gambler?
I don't think so, because I mean she lost on the big bets, or either way she will be just keep winning, right?
So wait, then the ultimate gambler is the one who wins all the bets then?
Exactly.
Then she's no whatever that girl is from Danganronpa.
She's not. But it's kind of funny because there's a girl that resembles to that girl.
I don't even remember the name actually.
I don't either. So yeah, it was something that kind of make me wonder. And the funny thing is like, hey, I know what happened. I know you were behind me saying, hey, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. When the girl was talking to the guy, like after the whole game, and he's like, how, like I'm sorry to be doing that. I don't really have an option, right? Because the guy is basically so in depth with the girl that he can really not defile. He can really fight the girl's decision, right? So Giovanni was like, "Hey, here, take this amount of money, have fun, do whatever you want. It's all yours. And thank you for the game," because she enjoyed the game, and that's pretty much it from the episode. Is if your guys are interested of that kind of show, I personally recommend you to watch it. Definitely planning to watch it because I said that it was one of my picks for my top 5.
Let me guess your other one. Koita Usu.
Koito Uso. I'm going to hold off for a second because there's some anime news article that you might want to read.
Is it coming from Anime News Network?
Who knows? It's up to you, buddy.
Okay, I'm gonna guess it's Crunchyroll. To Crunchyroll news I go.
Meaning he wasn't prepared
I'm never.
because he forgot about it. Even though he reminded me like last week about it, like nonstop,
What?
about the news segment.
I don't remember.
See what I mean?
Weird. I can't remember that, but I somehow remembered that I talked about Tamashi insert with you. Huh.
Anyways,
I have
continue.
selective memory. Otherwise, and then back to Lady Gustavo over there. I have to make sure my mic is on so that joke can come through.
You have to buy me lunch.
Heck,
You know that, right?
I'm not buying you lunch. Hello, what are you? Yuri on Ice guys meet liquid water for summer depart. Oh, never mind then. So, what's your article?
I'm waiting for your article.
Oh, it's my. Ah.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw a random article here for you guys. Kodo Kodo's 40th anniversary celebrates new generation of Pokemon, Doraemon, and more. If you ever been a kid in Japan, you probably heard of Kodo Kodo Comic, the biggest manga magazine aimed at elementary school boys. It currently serializes the manga versions of Pokemon, Beyblade, and Yokai Watch, among other popular children's franchises. And each issue is often packed with toys, games, and other exclusives. For example, the original Pokemon Blue version was initially available only to people who bought the Kodo Kodo magazine. Okay, but there was something okay, here it is. So what they're also trying to do is they're actually going to give judging by like some of the things, they're also giving like anime Pokemon themed food as well, because like one of the pictures I'm seeing is like a Pikachu burger.
I need to go to Japan.
I was gonna say the exact same thing, because here's a little bit of my own personal. I just been aware that I'm going on a cruise next year.
Can I go?
No. And I'm trying to get out of it.
Why?
I just don't like going on cruises.
Dude, that's like a one life experience.
I don't know. I think it's because I'm scared of every little thing around me. Like,
I don't know why my brain just start playing the that Titanic theme song.
and another one is pretty much I do not want to go on planes.
You are. Okay, I stop with the joke.
So yeah, pretty much looks like this place is also gonna also give like food as well. That actually looks interesting. I actually want to go to Japan now, and I told my parents, if you get me to Japan, I will do this.
Honestly, taking a fly on an airplane is not that bad, but it can be scary sometimes.
I mean,
Like like let's say you sleep like in the beginning of the airplane and you wake up like in the middle of it and you're like, where am I at? This is not my room.
it's like no, it's like you wake up and you realize nobody's there.
Oh shit!
What? I heard something.
Shoot.
Okay, I can't even. Your English is one of the few things I can never understand.
That's why we're best pals.
And this is why you asked me earlier. Oh, does my English sound better? No, it hasn't. I can still hear Oreo from Orlando. The moment I say that,
Dude, that's on purpose, actually.
The moment I say that, he goes online on Facebook.
Huh?
The moment I say Oreo to Orlando, he's on. I go to my Facebook, he's online.
Ding.
All right,
Anyways,
now continue.
Anyways, continuing.
There you go. Good girl. Hi, Gus. I already talked about my anime already. Except Battle Girl High School, but I can say that another time.
Say that again.
I can't even hear you because I don't have my thing, so you're lucky.
Okay, good enough. If is the next one is a ballroom a Jokoso. If I'm mistaken, is welcome to the ballroom. I saw that. Like I was staring at you when I was saying that. You're definitely buying me some lunch.
Funny joke.
If not, I'm taking your fries.
Funny joke.
Let's see who laughs at the end, Joker.
That's so funny. I could laugh till I cry.
Anyways, some people.
My mic's not even on. Continue.
I wander around. Good enough. Anyways, for some people, this show reminds to some people to Haikyuu. Some other people say that it reminds them to Yuri on Ice. I would probably say it's kind of combination of both. And the reason why people see this as the next Yuri on Ice.
I'm seeing Christmas carols here. Continue.
If Josh doesn't buy food today, or if Josh buys food today, I'm taking a surprise.
I don't even know.
I'm just saying. So that's what some people reminds them. But at the same time, at least for me, it kind of reminds me to I Shield 21, mainly because how the protagonist is acting up. But sometimes not really that related to I Shield 21, mainly because I Shield 21 is pretty much football, and this one is basically ballroom dance. So basically, the show is like pretty much, if I need to go into depth, is about dance, ballroom dance, and the protagonist is pretty much that. I think it's kind of cliche protagonist that doesn't know what he's going to do with his life. So he doesn't have a purpose to get into high school, which high school he wants to go. And somehow, some way, he's just like, oh, I see if this girl, she must be in the same spot as me. And in reality, she's not, which I'm going into depth later. So he's like, oh, hey, I'm going to end up being bullied because the guys who were trying to bully him in the moment were like, hey, we need some cash. You don't have cash, so what are you planning to do with that? Mind that he's punching you in the face because you don't have nothing. And then this guy just comes around the motorcycle. He's like, hey, dude, I don't appreciate bullies, right? So the guys were like, okay, chill, man, we're out. So the guy was like, oh, hey, you're here because of the dance trials, right? And our protagonist was like, wait, dance trials? I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, okay, come with me. So our protagonist was like, okay. Somehow he ended up meeting the girl in there who is trying to go into the professional ballroom dance. Is that a term?
Huh?
Ballroom dance?
Yeah, ballroom dance.
Okay, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, ballroom dance is pretty much ballroom dance. Okay. Wait, I just have to check my mic levels right now because I'm seeing either my mic's going dead. Okay.
I'm not planning to ask anything. So yeah, that's what pretty much is happening to him. So he pretty much stays there to practice the dance, even though he didn't want to. And after the dance trial, they were like, "Hey, if you want to stick around, you can practice. You can pay for the fees and practice for us, right?" And somehow the girl who was behind the counter put a CD on his bag. He watched it. He's like, "Oh man, this is how professional goes. It's so interesting." And they're just saying, "Look at me, look at me." And he's like, "Okay, I'm so fascinated with this." So he comes back the next day, and he ended up meeting the same guy in the same way that he met with the bullies, which is just basically him blasting in the motorcycle. And then the girl who was behind the counter was like, "Oh, hey, there you are." And he's like, "Okay, I don't care how I collect the money. I just want to dance." And the guy was like, "Are you serious? This must be a joke, right?" So the guy or the trainer is basically a professional dancer, ballroom dancer, and he's like, "Okay, I'm going to shoot this move. I want you to practice this." And the guy was like, "Okay, I'll practice that." Oh, I love that video. Anyways, I'm sorry to get off character right now.
Because you're looking at my
I am.
Facebook and you just see like a paranormal activity from you.
And
Where's the block?
are you serious? Anyways, I continue with the thing. So he's like, "So you will keep practicing that move until I say you can stop." And the guy was like, "Okay." I can, when he was talking to the girl behind the counter, she's like, "Hey, that move is a warm up, a workout move." He's like, "I'm going to give you like 20 minutes max before he's like, you know what, I'm out, right?" So he stayed up the entire night, dancing, practicing the moves. And in the next morning, the same girl who was trying to move to sort of broad, basically, she up into the dancing room. And she's like, "Oh, hey, I see you dancing. I'll teach you how to, like, I'll help you with the moves." Because he was only repeating the same move for the entire night. And then the guy wake up and he's like, "Oh, wait, what are you still here for?" And all these things happen, like, "Oh, the floor is full of sweat. The shoes are broken." So you were practicing the entire night. And that's pretty much the episode. To be honest, one of the shows that I just going to enjoy quite a bit. Is going to be quite fascinating, in my opinion. The next one is Koi to Uso. Oh boy, honestly, this show is going to be
your favorite.
I don't want to say my favorite because I think I'm ended up finding another show which might be my favorite. I'm just going to be saying this and that this show is going to be a huge roller coaster, full of like negative and positive emotions.
It's gonna be huge.
Because honestly, in the first episode, I feel like crying.
You heard that here, folks.
And
Yes,
honestly, like, no, like, to be more exact, no, there's a few quiet shows that honestly hit me right on the spot.
I cry almost every day.
And, like even with movies, like as the shape of the boys, Koino Katashi was a movie that almost made me cry. To be honest, I'm upset with that movie because like it's a roller coaster too. Uh, Your Name, Kimi no Nawa, the ending almost made me cry. And what other shows? There was another show I completely forgot about.
Konai Kaiteichi.
I mentioned it as a movie. I mentioned it already.
Boku no Pico.
I
Clannad.
haven't seen Clannad.
I need to watch that.
I think it
Angel
was
Beats.
Angel Beats is sad, but it didn't really hit me that hard. Uh, I I think it was a Plastic Memories that the one that hit me hard.
I was gonna keep going until I say My Little Dashie.
Anyway, so basically, Nijima is basically okay. I'm just going to go with the main concept. Is pretty much feudal Japan mixed with modern era. So basically, it's your average life like us, but the government choose who you can marry with.
I heard Meryl.
Marry.
Okay, I can't tell you.
So, for example, and the age that you receive the letter is 16, right? So, for example, Josh is barely turned 16.
I'm 15.
Anyways, continue with thing. Josh barely turned 16, and he's like, the government workers shows up to him. He's like, okay, here's a document say, hey, you're going to marry this person, right? And that person received the same thing as you. You're going to be marrying this person. No questions asked, nothing is involved. You're just going to marry that person. I don't care what you said, right? And for this, our protagonist, basically, it's like, hey, I love this girl for so long. If I'm going to I'm a birthday like in 2 days. So if I'm going to get married, at least I want to confess to the girl. Because oh yeah, I think I'm skipping like some parts of the episodes. In the first part of the episode was like, hey, I'm not planning to be married. One of his friends said that, so they quote unquote made a pact to say, hey, we're not planning to get married. And the guy was, I'm going back to the point that I was saying, like, oh, hey, this guy was trying to confess to the girl. He's like, oh, I'll see you at this place. What?
I don't know.
I'll see you at this place at this time. So the guy was there waiting for 4 hours and a half. He ended up making like some months, like I don't know how you call it. So it's basically like he was playing with the sand, and the police arrived during that time. He's like, "Hey, dude, it's kind of late. What are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, sorry, I was playing with the sand, and that took me like way too long." So he's like, "Okay, okay, it's fine. So don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Just head home." And the guy just waited for like another hour or so until 10:30, and just when he was leaving, the guy appears, say, "Hey, sorry for making you wait." And during their conversation, we learned that not only he was in love with her, but she also was in love with him, which I think it was like a really, really sweet moment. And they even kiss and everything. And and once the clock hit 12, he received a message saying, "Hey, you're gonna be marrying this girl." He's like, "Hey, I'm going to marry you." So our feelings are not in vain, right? We're going to be together because we're in love with each other for over 5 years. Um, and next thing you know, like his phone just turns off, and then you see the social workers from the government say, "Hey, sorry to bother you at this time, but here's your paper. This is who you're going to marry." So he opened the paper and he read it, and the girl who was supposed to be on that paper is a whole different girl. It's not the girl he was sitting with. He's like, wait a minute, what's going on? I used to receive like an email message. I think it's an email more exact, because Japanese people use emails instead of messages because messages are more expensive. So he's like, I received an email saying that I'm going to be with this girl. He's like, and they're like, sorry, but we have no idea about that. Like, I don't think that's right. I don't see that possible and stuff like that. And he's like, but I don't know what's going on. I don't like what's going on, right? So they're like, I don't know. Like, we just came in to bring this. The first meeting, you had to come to us. That way you can meet the girl that you're going to get married with. And the girl ended up being upset. The guy was like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going on with this. So the girl left, and he starts chasing after her. And honestly, like, that episode was a roller coaster for me. It was sad. It was good. It was something I wasn't expecting. And if they keep the quality like that, I would definitely keep watching it. If they keep playing with my emotions, I will keep watching it. That actually sounds kind of bad.
Yes, it does. I had to actually make sure my mic was on so that it could pick it up.
Anyways, do you have a news article that I'm watching right now?
Oh, so this article is coming from the most trusted source of anime news. What the heck is this? Pack Set 2016. Okay, these are just Japanese tours. Never mind. Those parts. Front Wing's Grisaya Phantom Trigger gets a TV anime. Front Wing announced on Saturday that its Grisaya.
Sorry, how did you say that?
Grisaya Phantom Trigger game is getting a television anime adaptation, so there's going to be an animation then. Frontwing had teased earlier this weekend that it would make an important announcement for the game at the event on Saturday on Akihabara to commemorate the upcoming release of the game's Volume 3 on July 28th.
Oh, I know which one is that. Okay, so basically that show has I won't say two previous animated systems, which the main protagonist was male.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that one's going to be a female protagonist.
I think it is because I'm seeing all female cast.
So the first two volumes was basically adapted from that, and it was interesting. Basically, this guy was like a super genius guy who was an assassin. And he just was like, you know what? I'm out of this work. I want to live a normal life, right? So he joins a private school, which guess how many students the school has in total?
Is it less than 100?
Yes,
It's less than 100.
it's less than 100.
Wow, I'm actually kind of surprised. I actually guessed almost there. 50.
Less than that.
25.
Less than that.
20. Or 15.
Less than that.
1.
More than that.
2.
More.
3.
More.
4.
One more.
5. What?
And it's a huge campus, a huge private campus.
That is terrible.
And then the guy joins, so he meets up with the 5 girls. And each girl has her own routes, which is kind of cool. And the anime has like 2 seasons, which I like, because I feel like they explore like each
Each girl's story.
yeah, each girl's story.
I was gonna say, is it gonna be like what's that? Like a certain magical index?
That's a mess. So yeah. So yeah, Koito Uso or Love and Lie is going to be one of my picks for the season, to be honest. At least in my top 5. I don't plan to say that it's like my number 1 because right now it's just vaguely on. What are you looking at?
I don't know. I think this is something that you looked when when you were on this account.
Probably. I don't know. Can't remember. And the last one that I watched, it was Nanamaru Sanbatsu, which I think the translation, don't quote me on it, is the King Quiz. I think so. I don't know, to be honest. Like, I honestly need to Google that out.
Don't Google.
Okay, I need to Yahoo that out.
Get Yahoo it out. What? I was actually able to kind of piece that English together somehow.
Yahoo?
Yahoo.
Woohoo!
You.
It's me, Mario.
Who is excited for that new Super Mario Odyssey game? In this game, you possess people. I'm not joking. This is actually a mechanic they're doing.
I don't know why I'm starting thinking of the Phantom of the Opera.
That's what you told us. That's what you told me outside before we were getting ready for the show. You messed up, and I think you said
I did mess up.
You said I think you said the Mystery of the Opera, but then you was like Phantom of the Opera. So yeah, I just kind of want to mention this coming weekend is gonna be the debut of Gamers. So hope you guys are kind of ready for that, as well as I think. Oh no, wait.
I'm not even done.
I know, but as you're looking up, I'm trying.
No, I was just like I was trying to find the English title, but I don't think it's worth it.
Again, because you were quiet, so I decided to talk a little.
It's fine. It's fine.
Also, Hajime no Gal this weekend too.
You are excited for that one, aren't you? Let's be honest. Anyways, I'm just going to sum up this show with this. It's time to duel.
Oh God.
Sorry about that.
Can we get a Boruto character now?
It's just a joke that I've been having since this morning. Okay, so basically this show is basically we have a protagonist who is a super smart guy who is basically a bookworm and who doesn't really have any interest on like cultural or sports clubs. And somehow he ended up just meeting on the second day of school, meeting with the president of the quiz game club, or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, okay." So he received one of the pamphlets or quiz pamphlets. He's like, "Solve them." He's like, "Okay, even a little kid knows how to solve this." So he answered all of them. And just because he didn't feel comfortable during a break, he left his classroom and went to a bookstore, the library. From there, he ended up meeting one of the side characters, or I assume the female main character protagonist, or female main support class, whichever you want to call it. And she was like, "Hey, sorry to bump into you," because she basically bumped into him. She got caught because she was running, and he got caught because he was in the library. But that's not really that important, to be honest. I don't really see the point of that. Can you stop googling stuff? You're distracting me. Jesus.
Stop paying attention to me then. Back to what he was talking about.
Back to what I was talking about. During a meeting or the club meeting, or the sample meeting, I'm not sure which one you want to call it. Each club was presenting themselves like, "Hey, this is who we are. This is what we do." And to be honest, if you Google that right now, there was a scene where guys were dressed in tennis clothes, but female tennis clothes. They were wearing skirts and everything. I'm not. You person.
Hey, at least I was not caught on camera.
You person. That was like. So smart. Anyways, so next club, it was the quiz club. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna pick like I want to have 6 different students. So I want 3 to volunteer, and one of those 3 volunteers was the girl, and the next one is like the next 3 I'm going to randomly pick, and the guy got picked, and we're like, okay, so question, yada yada yada, so question this and this and this, and the person like press the button and answer the question. And he's like, sorry, but that's not the answer, and they move to the next question. Uh, question this and this and this. So the person press the button and he's like, oh, you are correct about that. Next question, and stuff like that, and you continue like that, until one messed up and the girl was like in heat. She was basically pressing the button and answering the questions like right before the question was even finished. So the guy was like, wait, what's going on? And the girl was like explaining everything to the protagonist. Once the protagonist and once they reached the final question, it was like, okay, the last question is going to be a hard question. And he started asking the question about a specific book. And he's like, okay, I need to think about this. That's like the way of the protagonist was thinking about. I need to think about which what's the question about and what's going on. So he started thinking about like everything she told him so far, and what's going on with everything. So he's like, okay, I'm going to press the button. He pressed the button. And he's like, okay, the book is this. He's like, that's correct. And the guy was like, just looking at him in shock, like, what? So like right after the game, him and the girl met up. Well, in the classroom to be more exact, because she approached him, and she's like, okay, I will forgive you, for the accident that happened earlier, because she said something that I honestly wasn't expecting to hear. I will forgive you for this if you join the club. He's like, why did you brought that up again? So that's pretty much the episode. I feel like this show might just be forgetting quite easily, or job, because when I was on Twitter, I was like, look, I normally look at tweets and reply to people and stuff like that. They were like, hey, this this show is just not really interesting. I'm dropping it. And some people just might end up considering this as quote unquote a sports anime. So I'm like, okay, it's cool, no problem. So that's pretty much it. That's all the 4 anime shows that I saw so far. I want to keep watching some of the animes, but I wasn't sure which ones I.
Well, you can't find which animes can click with you right now.
It's know which one's gonna click with me. Is that I was being lazy and I had some stuff to do, so I didn't have that much time to keep watching anime.
So yeah, pretty much. I just want to mention again that some.
I just want to borrow Josh for a second. Come here, real quick.
Come over to his virus computer. I accept.
Like I said, like if you actually Google Nanamaru Sanbatsu on Google or Yahoo, whichever you want to prefer, you can find that image somewhere.
Okay, that's not my phone.
It's not my phone.
So it's outside.
I was on my phone. It's in my pocket, but it was under the camera.
My phone is right here, but I do not have like vibration or the mute button. So pretty much, I want to mention that some of the animes that are going to be airing soon are I already know Knights and Magics are airing. I think Made in Abyss is airing now. Yeah.
It is.
It aired yesterday.
Oh yeah. By the way, just one thing I wanted to mention is Amazon. The Amazon anime strike from Amazon was available around 2012. And basically, what it serves, the cost is like $5 per month. And if you want to try go for the trials, it's a 7-day trial.
Okay.
and just like super late.
All right.
And the article was updated on Anime News Network on 2014. Yeah, that's quite old to be honest. I didn't even knew about it.
All right.
So
So
so basically, the reason why, or some of the questions that they asked the owner for Amazon when it comes to Anime Strike was like how you come with the name Anime Strike, uh,
strike anime. There you go.
Anime Strike. Can you characterize how anime performed on Amazon Prime before the launch of Anime Strike? Can you characterize Amazon attitude towards anime programming before now? How do you select which shows to simulcast? What makes a good show good for Anime Strike? What went into the decision to make a premium channel with a surcharge rather than folding the content in with a standard Amazon Prime subscription, which is and why is 5 extra to watch anime on Amazon? Right on Anime Strike is limited to the United States. Are there any plans to expand beyond that globally wise? Do you have any subtitles your shows on language other than English? Uh, actually have the answer for those questions, but I would prefer you guys to go into the article and find it on Anime News Network.
Hmm.
But you know what? I'm just going to answer like one or two of them. There's more of those questions. I just picked the ones that, for me at least, it caught my attention. Uh, for let's say like how do they select the shows to basically air on Anime Strike? Which he replies, I have a programming team to spending a lot of time over the past year thinking about anime, thinking about what will be appealing to our customers. We have great data for our customers, and the Prime Beauty service we look at a ton of data, both quality and quantity, to come or decisions. And the other one I'm planning to read is why they make the premium channel with basically a $5 charge, and why the extra $5. And it says, well, the definition of TV has changed a lot over the last couple of years. At the highest level, there's increased customer choice with the growth of on-demand programming and the proliferation of channels and ways to get those channels. It's become all about bringing customers they want to watch, when and where they want to watch. That's what we've done with Anime Strike. There's a passionate group of fans who love to have anime content all in one place, and to do that makes sense to create a separate dedicated channel. There's much there's much more anime content available as part of that subscription than what can be found on Prime Videos, which is similar to other channels like HBO or PBS Kids, for example. So, what do you think about this? I mean, I know the article is old, uh, but I feel like this is something interesting.
Yeah, because I think you're talking about like how Anime Strike and how they pick their animes.
They pick the animes and why they charge $5.
I could see why because pretty much they want to air stuff to keep their thing alive. I think that's what they're trying to do because like with Anime Strike, because you like you said they're picking out animes that they are doing, and pretty much I actually did visit Anime Strike just a couple of minutes ago. With
It's kind of funny because I never knew about Anime Strike until you mentioned about it. I'm like, oh wait, what's that? You're like, oh, it's this. I'm like, okay, let me search that up. So basically, the idea of Anime Strike is, at least from my perspective, is to bring customers into this.
yeah,
It's basically a service like Crunchyroll, right? If I'm not mistaken, Crunchyroll service is like $1.99. Don't quote me on that. Uh, well, this one is $5, and Amazon makes a lot of money, like from selling it and stuff like that. And so I kind of see why they want to like step into this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's over 5 years by now. They have done that, and from what it seems to be, is that they still up with it. They are still simulcasting shows. I'm not sure, like what shows specifically or how long is the run for the show. Because right now I'm looking at your screen right now, and I saw Detective Conan. And I don't know if they're covering like per season or season and stuff, or if they're covering the whole thing.
Well,
So that's one of the main things. Because as an example, Detective Conan, Bleach, Gintama, and stuff like that. Those shows has over 100 episodes, and if I'm not mistaken, the corporate only established like a specific or the payment for the show only covers like a specific amount of episodes. Over that, you might end up paying extra money.
you're just like quiet while I'm looking at some of the animes here.
And I was just waiting for you to like say something smart.
Well, I'm just looking through all the animes here, and pretty much some of them look very. Some animes that I think we already know. Some already like Seikano, Sagara Resets.
It's basically like the last season stuff.
Yeah.
And from what it seems to be is that they're updating the thing or their content for this season.
All right. So before we kind of wrap things up here, I'm gonna open up with one last news set here. Is the Order of Rabbits season 2 anime special episode reveals November 11th. So pretty much the staff at the Manga Time Kirara Festa event revealed on the Sunday that Gochumon wa Usagi Desu Ka, Dear My Sister, the new special episode for the anime Is the Order of Rabbit, will begin screening in 40 theaters in Japan on November 11th. So pretty much if you are a big fan of the Is the Order of Rabbit anime series like I am, then be sure to go watch it because we get to see the Is the Order of Rabbit cast because I think the second season premiered in 2015, so it's great to see them after good 2 years. Hopefully this is just my assumption. There's gonna be a season 3. I want there to be a season 3.
Also, I think it's a great idea to finish with a question like which is related to one of the animes. So my question is for at least from the shows that I have seen is would you give up love for a marriage that it was set up by the government?
If I have, and I'm a person that follows the rules, so I would actually have to say yes.
Like it's just a question. Like you don't have to answer me like right now.
I just answered right now, because pretty much if I defy the government, what's gonna happen to me?
Because here's the thing, like you don't know who's going to be your bride.
It could be a guy, it could be a girl, it could be anybody.
It's going to be obviously the opposite sex. But what I mean is like, would you give up love from the person I want to be with, like badly, to a government to say, hey, you're going to be with this person. I don't care about your feelings. You're going to be with this person.
Actually, I would go for more of my love than the government. I don't know because I feel like with the series Koto Usu so far, I think I think there's gonna be at that turning point where they might see the thing and just gonna like, okay, we can maybe.
That show is going to be a roller coaster. I can promise that.
All right, so otherwise said and done, I think we're gonna wrap up this show right now. And hope you guys enjoy it. Next week, I actually do not know. I may change up the show's premises, but Gus will be holding his first hour, and I will be in Delhi City hanging out with my cousin again after.
Wait, so next week there's no show?
There is. I'm going to Delhi City to reunite with my cousin that I haven't.
Oh,
seen.
you mean today?
Yeah, from 5 to 6 years ago.
I thought you mean like next week. I'm like, okay, are you taking another break? I mean, it's cool.
Because technically, I have something.
But just don't bring the yellow card out. Because if you bring the yellow card out, I'm gonna be upset. Because last time, like everything was pre-recorded, which was basically like an hour. He basically was. I think you were sending your files, right? And I was at home, just doing nothing for a month. and
You listened into one of the pre-recorded shows.
I didn't. So my time schedule is so messed up that I'm sleeping at 3:30 in the morning,
I'm awake around that time frame because I sleep early.
and I wake up like around 2 in the afternoon.
So yeah, we're going to
Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter,
Carnival Animate, the show, Facebook, Carnival Animation, Gmail,
which nobody uses.
Gmail, carnivalanimation@gmail.com.
JoshRago@gmail.com.
Actually, it's my email is jrago562@outlook.com.
Outlook?
Or Hotmail.
Nobody uses Hotmail.
I
anymore.
use Hotmail.
Who uses Hotmail nowadays? I shall show pity for you, my son.
All right, we shall see you guys next week.
Live in the flesh, KXVS Radio, the voice of Stockton, KXVS 92.1 FM.
The voice of Stockton.